Hey guys, this is Bales. I'm on the lineups page for MLB here at FantasyLabs and going to do a quick walkthrough of how to use this and how I use it in a given slate of baseball. So we have a few changes to this from last year. We're really going to be placing a large emphasis on getting these lineups in as quickly as possible. MLB news and lineups will be run by Justin Fan, who runs our NBA product. And if you follow NBA or follow FantasyLabs NBA on Twitter, you know that he is really the king of news, gets it out faster than anybody, and I think that that's what we are going to be bringing to our MLB product. So I'm looking at a slate from last year, so all of the lineups are confirmed, but in the morning, moving forward, we're going to have projected lineups. They'll actually be out the night before, and so our guys will be looking at past lineups, handedness, when guys typically get rest, and they'll be projecting the lineup, and I think that that's going to allow you to do research on this page a little bit easier, or just start to think about who you want to stack, who you want to play in general. And you can do research by using some of the filters here at the top. So here we have every lineup that's in that is confirmed. You can sort by batters or pitchers. You can also sort by position, so those players will be highlighted. So if we want to look at first baseman who cost at least $4,000 on a team projected to score at least 4.5 runs, we can do that. And we have Goldschmidt and Chris Davis, and those players will be highlighted. I use this a lot to identify quality stacks. So the first way we can do that is to look at just the Vegas implied runs. And this is something that we calculate based on the over-under and the money line. So if you click on a team logo, you can actually see the opening line, where the money line is, where people are betting. So Arizona in this game opened at 4.5. It actually closed at 6 runs, so they went up 0.4 runs, which is a big predictor of fantasy value. 74% of bets that came in Vegas were on the D-backs, and 60% were on the over-under, which explains why that line moved up. So I look at this, try to understand reverse line movement looking at these numbers, but based on those numbers, we can calculate implied runs, and we actually look at how many runs teams actually scored in similar situations in the past. So it's not a strict calculation. We look at the money line, we look at the over-under, and then compare that to what's happened historically in those situations. So it should be a bit more accurate than some other methods. We also have price per run, which is a metric that I created, which shows you the number of dollars that you need to spend per implied run for the entire team. So the D-backs in this particular game would be a really good value with a low cost per run. Pretty cheap players other than 2 guys, more or less, and obviously 6 implied runs is a lot. So that's a good way to just quickly visualize the value of a particular team, which is valuable in MLB because of stacking and how holistic it is of a sport in general. We also have weather, as we did last year. This is going to be more accurate than it was last year. We have a different feed where we also have a weather admin area where we'll be updating things. Anything in green is generally a situation you can trust. Anything in red is going to be something that you might want to avoid. So here you can see there's a 78% chance of rain in that game. And so it's just a quick way to visualize where there might be situations to get away from. Again, I use this a lot to identify quality teams to stack. So I might set the team runs at say 4.7. Anyone at 4.7 or above will be highlighted like this. You can see the Rays are not, the Orioles are. Click opposite hand, and you can pretty quickly get a sense of which batters are facing a pitcher of the opposite hand and are on teams projected to score a bunch of runs, and then maybe compare that to the price per run to understand value a bit. You can also click on player names to get a whole bunch of data on these players, and all of this is free. So we're looking at Grady Sizemore over the last 10. This is his change in salary. This is his plus minus. So you can see he was playing very well of late here, scoring a whole bunch of points above what would be expected based on his cost. You can also see upside, which is how often a player is scoring twice his salary-based expectation, and then how many games he's been scored only half or fewer of that expectation. So comparing that to the league average, you can see Grady Sizemore over the past 10 days was playing very well. If we do the season, which is a running 12-month total, you can see he actually has a little bit more upside than the average player of his cost. We have splits down here, lefty-righty splits, those for the month and for the year. So if you're looking at Sizemore, you can see he is not a power guy. This is someone that I typically might not be playing in tournaments, or definitely wouldn't unless it was part of a stack. You can see his ISO against righties, 131, just .097 against lefties. These splits are important to look at. You can look at some guys who are even splits players, and then guys who are really drastic in their splits. So you can see Steve Pearce here, pretty close. Chris Davis, also pretty close, 266 against righties, 232 ISO against lefties. But those guys who are extreme splits players, I think 143 against righties, 218 against lefties. This is a situation to target against lefties, since salaries are often a reflection of overall performance, and guys are in really different spots when they face particular handedness of pitcher. But again, the big change here, I think, and what's going to be so valuable is that we will have lineups in before anyone else, and we will have player news that resembles what we have for NBA. And I think that's a big upgrade. It's something we didn't have last year, and I think it's just going to make this page and our overall product really high quality.